Another tough game in the Sunset League that went down Friday at Orange Coast College. Edison, the Chargers, they tallied another mark in the loss column, dropping to 1-2, 23-21 final score on a last-second field goal against a really tough Trinity League opponent, their second Trinity League opponent this season, Orange Lutheran. Howard, despite the loss for Edison, they played what Coach Grady called Chargers football, Edison football. He was happy. I shouldn't say happy, but he was impressed by the performance of his team. There were some player performances that stood out to you. Who jumped off the page from Edison from your standpoint?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was an excellent game. So there was multiple guys that jumped out. We have to start with Troy Fletcher. He's a guy week in and week out at this point. We know the offense, and this surprises us a little bit. We didn't foresee this coming into the season, but the offense is really revolving around Troy Fletcher right now. He had 20 carries yesterday. In today's day and age, when you see a lot of air raid and spread offenses, you don't often see running backs with 20 carries, but he had 20 carries, scored a touchdown, so Troy Fletcher had another good night. Parker Awad, he looked good as well. Threw the ball 20 times, had close to 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also showed some versatility with his legs. There was a little bit of pressure at times, and he was able to escape the pocket, showed toughness, took a couple of big hits. So those guys really stood out as some guys we knew would come into the game having big offensive nights. But what I didn't expect at all was for Peyton Gregory and Austin Gribbick to get in the score column with offensive touchdowns. I didn't even know these guys had receptions, deep down inside of them. I didn't even know they were offensive guys like that because there might be the two best defensive players on Edison. But like I said, Austin Gribbick and Peyton Gregory both had receiving touchdowns from Parker Awad, just bringing more versatility to this Edison offense. But another guy who really shined last night, had a heck of a day, was Tucker Tripp. 5 catches, 82 yards. Got first downs and moved the chains when his team, their back was against the wall and they needed it. So he's a guy that is showing that, hey, I'm an option, and defensive backs better respect me because I can go off for a huge night as well.
Well, Howard, I want to go on record. Maybe I said this before when they played Servite, but I want to go on record again and just say I respect Coach Grady, his staff, and the Edison Chargers for scheduling tough opponents. I think it's really going to pay off when we get to the Sunset League schedule. And I asked Coach Grady about that this morning.
Well, it certainly doesn't hurt, play against good opponents. That saying, iron sharpens iron. I guess we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. But, we like playing these teams because you get better. You get tested. We were put in tough situations last night. I felt like we responded. And they just made a couple more plays than we did.
Well, I believe exactly what Coach Grady said to be true. And, I said this off air, Alex, I'm higher on Edison today than I was before they played Orange Lutheran and lost. It was such an impressive game. So many guys came up with big plays. A couple of guys on defense, Dom Lopez had a fumble recovery on the 1-yard line right before halftime. His team absolutely needed somebody to step up and make a play, and he came up big. So this Edison team, they have absolutely no quit in them. We saw them have a tough game the first game of the season, but we knew they would be better for it. And I think we're seeing that. They took a step up in competition playing Orange Lutheran, and they looked like they belonged. Coach told us they were only a few plays away from winning the game, and they know that. So that's going to give them confidence, and they know they can play with anybody in the county, anybody in the area at this point. Even though they didn't come out with the victory, they'll figure it out next time they're in a tough situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, as Coach Grady said, iron sharpens iron.